Good afternoon, respected faculty judges and all my colleagues present here. Today, I, Akanksha Wankhede, with my group members Anusha Agarwal, Diksha Singh, Jaya Verma, Nikhil Patle, Sameer Dadlani, and Shweta Gupta are here to give our analysis on Satyam scam, which was corporate accounting scandal. Now, to begin with, I would first of all like to tell everyone what are the objectives of analyzing and reading the case. To begin with, to provide opportunity as students to examine various challenges of accounting in the global environment, and also to examine the misappropriation of billions of funds at Satyam. Next is to increase our analytical skills by going through every aspect of the scandal, how and what went wrong. Next is to the case teaches us the importance of ethical duties and ethical duties towards our company. Next is to increase a critical thinking as a finance students by knowing some huge aspects and terms like audit planning, audit risking, performing, and audit procedures at both technical and at both technical and international level. Next is to this shows us the strategies that we can follow, like corporate government norms, duties, and policies. Now, moving forward, I would like to invite Anusha to continue with the presentation. Anusha, please come on the e-dais.
Thank you, Akansha, for inviting me. Now I will tell you a little about the industry. So the first point is rise of IT sector. It all started in 1980s when there was a rise, or one can say boom, in the IT sector of the Indian industry. Many firms emerged as a rapid growth of information technology due to adequate efforts from the Indian government. The industry uh, industry flourished, and the company began to expand globally. Then the hub Bangalore becomes the IT hub of the country, and India become favorite for their outsourcing needs, uh, and uh, and as a result of large number of customers was served, and Indian IT industry becomes the uh, largest software and service exporters in the region. Third is Satyam Computer Service Limited. In the wake of the boom, Satyam Computer Limited was established in 1987 by Mr. Ramalinga Raju. Uh, they started with only 20 employees, and in the end, business associate grew to 13,120 and 300 customer worldwide. Then India's example of growing success. Satyam was engaged in IT and delivered business process outsourcing services that covered various sectors and in the business environment. And this attempt made the Satyam a rising star and became India's example of growing success. Now I would like Jaya to continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Anusha. Now I'm going to cover the topic emergence. Then the first point is establishment. Back in 1981, a company called Sat Limited was formed by Mr. India with less than 20 employees. The company provided information technology software services to a huge customer base. Then the second point is SC. Satyam immediately experienced success after it issued an initial public offer on Bombay Stock Exchange in 1991. This was one company which outsourced technology, reached technology height in short span of time, and it became leading global consulting and IT service company and listed in New York Stock Exchange. Then the next point is winning of several awards. Satyam added feather after feather to its cap by becoming India's largest software exporter. Satyam was sorry Satyam was an example of India's growing success. In April 2008, In April 2008, Satyam became the first Indian company to publish IFRS audited financial. Satyam won numerous awards for innovation, corporate governance, and accountability. In 2008, the World Council for Corporate Governance awarded uh, Satyam with Golden Peacock Award. Then the next point is World Bank bearing Satyam. Late in 2008, the board of Satyam decided to take Mehta's, a real estate company owned by Mr. Raju. But this did not sit well with the shareholders, which led to the decision being reversed, impacting the stock prices. On December 23rd, World Bank barred Satyam from doing business with any of the bank direct towards for the period of 8 years. Then behind the curtain. By January 2009, promoter stake falls by 3.6%. On January 7, market received the resignation of Mr. Raju along with a confession letter that he had manipulated accounts of rupees 7,800 crores. On January 8, after the confession of Mr. Raju, the first legal action taken against the management of Satyam in the wake of the fraud. It was the beginning of the end. Thank you. That's all from my side. Now Anusha will continue.
Thank you, Jaya, for inviting me. Now I will continue with the confession letter. So, Ramalinga Raju submitted the letter to SEBI and to all the board of directors on January 7th, 2009. And then he disclosed or confessed all the fabrications he did, like cash and bank balance, accrued interest, understated liability, etc., which you can see in the table. Then he disclosed that he did the accounting fraud of rupees 7,000 crores, and he also accepted that he made a profit over the years, in the balance sheet and income statements of 30th September 2008, and he reported that cash and balance of 5,361 crores. But the actual cash and balance was 361 crores, which makes a difference of 5,040 crores. And likewise, he continued with the accrued interest and understated liabilities, etc. And then he mentioned this metaphor which says it was like riding a tiger and not knowing how to get off without being eaten. Uh, by this, he accepted and confessed that uh, started he started as a marginal gap between the actual operating profits and actual profiting and the book and the one reflected in the books of accounts uh, and the one reflected in the books of accounts continued to grow over the years, and the gap reached unmanageable proportionals, uh, which and it becomes difficult to cover that for him to cover that gap. And he also confessed that none of their spouses were involved in the fraud except for the philanthropic purposes. Uh, and in the end, he apologized in the letter and gave all the liberties to the SEBI and board of directors to take further actions about the company. Now I would like Akansha to continue with the presentation.
Now moving forward with the scandal, I would like to first tell that what majorly went wrong and what made Mr. Raju uh, fall in such a big turmoil of the scandal. Now, it was basically the greed for money, power, prestige, which made him do such a huge fraud, and which made him violate all the duties and collapsing all the ethical standards like honesty, integrity, loyalty, accountability towards the company, and also there were lack of corporate social responsibility uh, towards the stakeholders and public. Now, talking about talking about the scandal, the issue basically began at Satyam when Mr. Raju planned to acquire the Mehta's infrastructure with 51% stake and the full stake at Mehta Property. Now, on 16 December, when he proposed the plan to the five independent directors of the board, they accepted and approved of this step, and when and accepted that for 1.6 billion offer they were to acquire the two organization. After this news got revealed, the stakeholders and the shareholders, investors, they revolted strictly against it because it was without their knowledge and awareness this major step was taken place. Now the financial after this, they threatened the investors, revolted and threatened them about regarding this and to take action against the management, which made the financial specialist and the market to constrain his decision and withdraw within 12 hours. This also resulted in the cost dived to 55% in New York Stock Exchange. And simultaneously on 23rd of December, World Bank barred and banished Satyam for 8 long years on account of furnishing the bank staff with misappropriate information and for information burglary. Now, talking about Merrill Lynch. So Merrill Lynch was an American-based investment bank which was appointed by Satyam to look for a suitable partner for investment. And within 10 days, within merely 10 days, it blew the whistle, which made all the fabrications come forward, and it got disclosed basically. The fraud was made to divert all the funds of the company into the real estate through tunneling. And also if you talk about the promoters, the stake of the promoters significantly reduced during over the period from 25% to merely 2.8% in 2008, implying the gap which was consistently widening in the company. Now, moving forward, I would like to invite Shweta to continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Akanksha. Auditor roles. If we talk about auditor roles, it includes PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and Suspicion. Now, PwC is one of the best auditing firm all over the world. PwC is a multinational professional services network of firm. It provides services like financial advisory or tax advisory. PwC audited Satyam books of account from June 2000 to 2009, almost about 9 years, but they did not cover the fraud. So PwC is equally responsible for this fraud. If we talk about Suspicion, where PwC audited Satyam book of account from 9 years, but they failed to detect the fraud. But when Merrill Lynch appointed, they discovered the fraud within 10 days. So it appears that the fake invoices were ignored by PwC, cash and bank balance was not verified by PwC, and the auditor did not do beginning to end transactions verification. And Satyam also paid PwC twice as compared to the other audit firm charge. So it raised question where PwC complicit in the fraud. Now, factors contributed to fraud. If we talk about factors, besides auditor, many other factors contributed to that financial scam, like the institutions and the lack of duties and values. If we talk about institutions like the independent board members of Satyam, investors, and the SEBI, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, who have all the sources like models and detailed information about the company, but none of them detect the fraud. And if we talk about lack of duties and values, greed for money, success, power, competition, and prestige, which compelled Mr. Ramalinga Raju to do all these manipulations. Thank you. This is all from my side. Now I would like to call Sameer to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Shweta. Now let's discuss about the consequences. Disengagement with the various institutes. Immediately following the news, Merrill Lynch and the State Farm of Insurance terminated its engagement with the company. Also, Credit Suisse suspended its coverage of Satyam. Also, after this, PwC license was revoked because after the investigation, it was proved that PwC was maintaining the fake balance sheets and fake bills of Satyam's. It's only take 10 days for Merrill Lynch to understand the scam. Falling of shares. Satyam shares fell to 11.50 rupees on January 2009, their lowest level since March 1998 compared to high of rupees 554 in 2008. On the New York Stock Exchange, Satyam shares peaked in 2008 at rupees US $29.10. By March 2009, they were trading around US $1.80. Criminal charges. B. Ramalinga Raju and his brother B. Rama Raju were convicted under Section 409, criminal breach of trust and merchant or agent. CFO Vadlamani Srinivas, external auditor S. Gopal Krishnan, and Talori Srinivas, and Vice President Finance G. Ramakrishna were convicted under Section 406, criminal breach of trust. New board members. The union government announced creation of new board for Satyam Computer Services, comprising Deepak Parekh, Chairman Housing Development Finance, HDFC, Kiran Karnik, former president of NASCOM, and C. Achulan, former member of Security and Exchange Board of India. This makes the team of experts from banking, IT, and law background. The auctions. On 13 April 2009, via a formal public auctions process, a 51% stakes in Satyams was purchased by Mahindra and Mahindra, owned by company Tech Mahindra. The companies are merged legally on 25th June 2013. Thank you. And now I would like to call Diksha to continue further.
Thank you, Sameer. So I am here to cover the investigatory part of the Satyam scam. First, I would like to tell about the CBI investigation. So CBI registered an FIR against Satyam founder B. Ramalinga Raju and other company officials. CBI also set up a 15-member team consisting of police officials and chartered accountant to track the case. One of the key aspects of the CBI investigation was to find out how many of Satyam former directors are involved in the scam and the role of auditors who failed to report this, uh, who were failed to report them. CBI is also in the course of investigating the CEO's overseas assets. Next is about ICI call. So ICI call, the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India has nominated 5 experienced chartered accountant to be a part of the CBI team, where the ICIA ruled that the CEO and auditors were guilty for this professional misconduct. Next, I cover the criminal and the civil charges. So the investigation that followed the revelation of the fraud has led to charges against the several different peoples of the Satyam. Indian authority arrested Mr. Raju, Mr. Raju's brother B. Rama Raju, who was a former managing director, and Mr. Srinivas, he was the company's head of internal audit and the chief of financial officers on criminal charges of fraud. There were also several civil charges filed in the US against the Satyam. Next I say about the civil charges, which are which are the court are sorry. Next are the civil charges. A special court in Hyderabad announced that Mr. Raju, founder of Satyam Computer, and his younger brother, Mr. B. Raju, must be sentenced to 7 years of jail and fined for rupees 5.5 crore. And other eight involved people in this fraud were also sentenced to 7 year jail, but they were have to fine for rupees 25 lakh rupees each. Now the victims of the Satyam scam. So the victim of the Satyam scam are the victims of the Satyam scams are their employees. Um, Employees, they were faced non-payments of salaries and dismissal from their job. So next are their customers. So the customers of Satyam are worried about the project and their confidentiality with the company. They was turned toward the Satyam's competitor because they lost of trust with Satyam. Next are their stakeholders or their shareholders. After the disclosure of their Satyam scam, their shareholders was in doubt of the revival of India as a preferred investment destiny. Next are the bankers. Bankers was worried about their recovery of financial and non-financial liabilities. And Indian government. The government are distressed about the image of nation and IT sectors and IT sector of India. So now I will invite Nikhil to continue the presentation.
Thanks, Diksha. And now, good afternoon, everyone. Today we will discuss about the corporate governance in a corporate governance issue in Satyam case. So, first we know what is the corporate governance. So, corporate governance is referred to the set of systems, principles, and process by which a company is governed. They provide guidelines that how company can be directed or controlled so that they can fulfill its goals and objectives in such a manner to add the values of the companies, and it's beneficial to all the stakeholders in all the long terms. Now talk about the sabotaging relations in corporate governance in Satyam case. So in this case, it includes everyone ranging from the board of directors, employees, society, shareholders to customers. So the role of trustee, all the role of trustee, all the others have breached, and in good corporate governance means conducting the business in a transparent manner with integrity and fairness. It involves a commitment to the conducting business in an ethical manner by complying with all the laws and accountable to the stakeholders. So good corporate governance is one of the important criteria for all the investors, including foreign investors, for taking investment decision in the company. So now talk about the non-fulfillment of obligation. So because of the non-fulfillment of obligations of the company towards the various stakeholders, so in the case of Satyam, the above obligations were never fulfilled. The acquisitions of Meta's infrastructures and properties were announced without the consent of shareholders. So they ruins their relations and also not fulfill the obligations. And shareholders has a right to get information from the organization. Such information can be with the respect to the merger and acquisitions. So shareholders expect transparent dealing in an organization. They even have the right to get the financial reporting and records. And talk about the creditability question. In more trouble with that for auditing the fraternity and investment in investor survey has found that 57% large investors and sales side analysis do not have any faith in the big four audit firms. So they also they lost their credibility. And talk about the non-payment of taxes. The Satyam continues to haunt Mahindra Satyam, and the income tax government has also asked the management to pay rupees 2,114 crores for the assessment year 2013, 2002 and 3. That's all from my side. Akansha will conclude. Now Akansha will conclude.
Uh, Now, to conclude our presentation, I would like to mention few of the conclusions that we found. First, the corporate accounting fraud has become a major problem in our society. It has increased the frequency and frequency and severity both at a very large level. Now, next, it has impacted the entire auditing structure because of this scam, all the other notorious firms also were exposed. It highlighted the scam highlighted the importance of security laws and corporate legislations. Next is we learned about how the importance of corporate governance, how it is important to be transparent and to maintain efficacy and accountability towards our company and stakeholders, investors, and etc. That's all from group number 3. Thank you.